welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. So today's video is going to be about T-14 law schools. So I'm always getting the question, what was it like to attend a T-14 law school, and whether people should pick going to a T-14 law school rather than going to a lawyering school. Like, should I attend Harvard? And honestly, I know you guys think I have all the answers in the world. And yeah, naturally I understand because God has given me such a brilliant mind. But like, this wasn't an easy question to answer, because why do people really attend T-14 law schools? I mean, if you really think about it, people want to go to a T-14 law school because of the clout, the reputation. They want to go because they're highly ranked. Some would even want to go to T-14 law school because they want to be surrounded by legends or celebrities or people who are in such an elitist realm. You know what I'm saying? But if you really think about it, that's really all the rationale that people have behind attending a T-14 law school. They really don't know much else about it. And I'm going to include myself in that because I wanted to attend a T-14 law school. I kid you not, just for the credentials. I wanted to be one of those people where they're like, did you go to Harvard? Yeah, that's the law school I went to, Harvard. Or when they ask me to introduce myself, I will be like, hello, my name is K. Yvonne, Northwestern grad, okay? But to be honest, like, my decision could have been a little bit better. I mean, I love the school that I attend, but I should have done a better job of figuring out why I really wanted to go to T-14 law school. Okay, so if you're applying and you're wondering why or why not you should attend a T-14 law school, this is going to be the video for you. It's going to be even the video if you are curious about T-14 law schools in general. This is also the video for you.
Like, girl, what you settling for? Yeah, we ballin', we settling score. You know I need that scene that down.
So today I'm going to give you pros and cons about attending a T-14 law school. Y'all can do what you want with the information. I just think these are things that they don't tell us about attending a T-14 law school, and it would have been helpful in my decision making. So let's start this video. So to start this video off, we're going to talk about the job market in relation to T-14 law schools. So essentially, T-14 law schools are feeder schools for the big law legal market. Listen, I've said this in a lot of my law school videos, and I'm going to say this again. I was a first generation law student, and I want to reiterate that point because it really explains my ignorance. I attended a T-14 law school, and I went in not even knowing what big law was. So if you told me that it was a feeder school, I don't even think I would comprehend. But what that essentially means is, when you are looking for career options at a T-14 law school, what they stress as the #1 career option is working at a big law firm. So as a first generation law student, I knew I wanted to go to law school. I knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to be a family lawyer in particular. And I knew that a T-14 law school had a high employment rate. But that was it. I wasn't familiar with the big law versus public interest debacle. Like, I just knew I wanted to be a lawyer. So when I entered the law school and I attended like career panels or I talked to students, I noticed that majority of them were explaining career options following the big law path. They devote more of their resources, panels dedicated to the big law market, or they have OCI, which is this whole job application process when big law corporations come in and interview students in the summer so they can go into the big law realm, which in no shape and form is the wrong path to go to. It's just how they talk about it at a T-14 law school it's big law is the one path you need to go into. It's just that if you're not aware of this and you essentially don't want to go into big law as your primary practice area, and then you rather do government work or public interest work, then a T-14 law school main focus and goal is to put their students into big law. I'm not saying that a T-14 law school can't give you a job in government work or public interest work, because they still have career options and career advisors set up to the public interest realm, but you will just see that it's more focused on big law. And even the culture, it could be unintentional, but even when you talk to students, I think there's a type of expectation to go into big law. And if you tell someone like, hey, I don't want to go into that particular field, they're like, whoa, what's wrong with you? Like, why don't you want to do big law? Like, we're all here for that. So I think that's just something that they don't tell you. You can attend a T14 law school and not do big law. That's totally fine. But it's just something I didn't know. And I just want to make it clear, like, if you don't want to do big law, you don't have to, okay? You don't have to change your views. You can still attend T14 and not go into big law. Okay, so the next thing that they don't tell you is that T14 law schools tend to have a slightly different grading system than lower ranked schools. Meaning, for instance, some T14 law schools are graded on a pass-fail basis, meaning you either pass the class or you fail the class. Or they have low pass, high pass. Other T14 law schools, such as like Northwestern, they're graded on a curve like any other law school. However, okay, so this is what I was told by students. So if this is not right, do not come for me. Do not kill the messenger. But what they don't tell you at T14 law schools is that it's very hard to fail. Yeah, I said it. Like, it's very hard to fail at a T14 law school. Essentially, the only way that you can really possibly fail at a T14 law school is, one, if you freaking drop out of school because you can't pass if you no longer attend the school, duh. And then two, if you're just essentially just not giving it your all. Like, if you're not studying, if you're not talking to the teachers, then there's a possibility that you can fail. If you did your part, and let's say you're really the worst at a subject, I promise you, you will not get lower than a C. Because really, think about it. A T14 law school has a very high reputation, and they have to keep up their median GPAs. They have to keep up their, certain grade requirements. So they can't have their students making D's and F's. So for you to get a D, I'm pretty sure it has to go through some kind of administration approval. Okay, so you can't really fail out, and that's what they don't tell you. So yes, I hope your anxiety is calm, because you can get a C, but you will not fail and get a D or an F. All right, next. Now, this may be obvious to you, but for me, it wasn't that obvious. What they don't tell you is that the resources at a T14 law school are endless. Like, endless. They are endless. Like, endless. Like, infinity and beyond. First, let's talk about the network. The network is massive, okay? And essentially, by enrolling into a T14 law school, you are practically in a fraternity, okay? Some would even say maybe a cult, because you will always be connected to that T14 law school in a way that will literally escalate you in your career opportunities. When I say the alumni really looks out for people who attend that particular T14 law school, I am not kidding. Quoting the best movie to ever hit the big screen, ATL, is not always what you know. It is who you know. And a T14 law school is definitely a sure way and a sure opportunity to escalate you in your career in the future because of the people that are in that network. And it's not just about the network, to be honest. Like, your career services they're dedicated to making sure to put their students in positions of employment. So they will connect you with whoever you need to get connected with in order to have a job. And they'll give you your own career advisor, and they'll just make sure to prep you and do everything that you need to get a successful job. Also, something that they don't tell you about a T14 law school is they have money. Okay? Again, could be obvious to you guys, but to me, wasn't really aware. I was just like, oh my gosh, I gotta take out loans. Okay, and that was it. But I did not know that in addition to me taking to the loans, the school will also provide me with resources like money for things that aren't covered in the loans. And a prime example of this was like, for instance, if you wanted to attend a class and you had a trip to go to Greece for the class and you didn't have the money for it, the school will help you take out an emergency loan, or they will even cover the cost if you tell them that your financial situation is just really bad. Or, for instance, if you don't have the money to cover your bar prep funds or your bar prep courses, the school will help you to make sure that you get that money in some shape and form. I don't know if they have a star fund, which they will help assist students who need it because of financial difficulties. Whatever the case may be, the school has money. Like, your tuition, yes, is expensive, but at the same time, they are giving you resources you need when you need it. So essentially what I'm saying is, when you are suffering at a T-14 law school, don't be like, oh my gosh, I don't have the money. What am I going to do? I'm going to work 4 jobs. I'm going to have 5 jobs. Like, whatever. First of all, take a deep breath, then slow down and go talk to the administration and see how can they help you, because they really, really care about their students and have the resources to take care of their students. Okay. So another thing that they do not tell you about attending a T-14 law school, and before I even say this comment, in no shape and form should this be the reason that you attend a T-14 law school, or this should be like, hey, I should have attended a T-14 law school, but I'm going to say it anyway because I was not aware. Let me tell you, they have food and drinks for you to eat and drink for days. Like, I kid you not, no exaggeration. My first year of law school, I was fed every lunch period for an entire year. Meaning I did not have to buy lunch food at all for a year. In addition, there's other meals that I didn't have to cover as well. It wasn't every day. I can honestly say lunch was every day where I didn't have to use my money to buy food, because the law school had endless panels that you could attend that gave you free lunch, or you had club organizations you could go to that also had free lunches. And in addition to that, they had events. Like usually there's an event happening every week where they are providing you food and drinks. And if you're like into alcohol or whatever, like they almost always had open bars. So I mean, like, who doesn't like free food? Like, but it's not even just the lunches. Like, if you really think about it, like, the amount of events that they have just goes back to my point of the fact that T-14s have money, because a lot of organizations I was involved in, I got to do things for free. Like, for instance, for Balsa, we rented out a whole movie theater and watched Black Panther, and I didn't have to cover a dime. Like, they gave us snacks, they paid for our food, and that is just like a normal thing at a T-14. I'm not sure if that's a normal thing at other law schools, but from my perspective, like, wow, that's something that I just never knew going into a T-14 law school, that I would have ample opportunities to like attend boat cruises and things for free. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to mention about attending a T-14 law school, even though I know there's a lot more I could talk about, but your girl is really tired of talking. So if you want a part 2, comment below, let me know. But another thing that they do not tell you about a T-14 law school is essentially how the atmosphere is going to be. I think the best way to put this is, you're now attending schools. You're now attending schools where you are with people who are the smartest students in their undergrad. Meaning, essentially, you are going to school with a bunch of nerds. And I will say that to myself, like, about myself. Yeah, I guess I was a nerd when I was in undergrad, and that's fine. But what happens is that you naturally have a competitive edge because you guys are all the smartest students in undergrad. which has a more collegial environment, which is, I guess, beneficial to learning. What they don't tell you is not everyone will be at the top anymore, which obviously should be evident by the fact that law school is graded on the curve. But I think this is an important point to note for people's expectations going into law school. I want everyone to know that you are very smart, and you, no way in shape and form should grades define you. But just don't be hard at yourself if you're no longer at the top, because you are now in an environment where it's tough and it's hard because everyone is used to being at the top. Another thing is, like, they don't tell you that although it is competitive and everyone is part of this collegial atmosphere, they also have a lot of social activities. I thought going into law school it was just straight academics and nothing else. But even at T-14 law schools, you have like intramural basketball or intramural soccer or like track organizations where they still keep the social atmosphere going, even though you're pursuing a higher level education. All right, that's all I have right now. I know there's so much more. I'm just honestly exhausted. Thought YouTube was easy. It ain't. If you have any more questions about what it's like attending a T-14 law school, just comment below. I will probably do a follow-up video to this. But anyways, thank you for coming to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, if you made it to the end of the video, you're a real one, and I hope you have a nice day. Today's video is going to be about T-14 law schools. I am always getting the question about what was it like to attend a T-14 law school.